Aquí comienza PoloRadio.
Hello, Federico Levy and the team at PoloRadio of Buenos Aires, Argentina. This is Claudia Suica from New York in the U.S. And I'll be talking today with Sam Instone, Polo player and founder and chief executive officer of AES International, which is a financial service company. Sam Instone is right here, well, not right here, he's in Dubai as we speak. So welcome, Sam, to Polo Radio.
Hi, Claudia. How are you doing? Great. Thank you very much for inviting me on.
Thank you, Sam. So I would like to, I'm going to ask you about your company. So could you please tell us what is different about your company compared to the rest of the companies that we see, financial services companies that we see all over the world? Could you please tell us?
Sure. We see, I come from a non-financial services background, originally from the military. I was actually in charge of guarding the Queen in the military and the horses that you see, the guys riding around London on breastplates. And that was we see the military service as vocational. And we very much see that financial services should be also vocational, and it helps people make the most of their money. Yet when I left the military many, many years ago, I realized that financial services is an industry, and it's largely people, big firms, manufacturing and vending products towards people. And I guess how we different, we believe that like accountancy, law or medicine, financial services, something as important as helping people with money, should be a profession, and therefore you need to be professionally qualified with years and years of experience and university degrees. You need to have like the Hippocratic Oath or the fiduciary duty of a lawyer, and you need to have a duty to put the client's interest first. And almost in every way, you need to do the opposite of the traditional financial service industry, which is really manufacturing and vending products which make them money, not the clients themselves. So I'd say, in answer to your question, how are we different? Almost every way, we begin with what would be good for the client.
Perfect. Now, I follow your company at LinkedIn, and I actually enjoy so very much your company blog. And one of the pieces and one of the stories that I was fascinated by is the story about the millionaire teacher, Andrew Hallam. Could you please tell me, how did you come across him?
I came across Andrew Hallam, colloquially known as a millionaire teacher, because he became a millionaire on a teacher's salary. And because of the books he's written, one, obviously the rules of wealth you should have learned at school. It's all about how he became a millionaire teacher. The other one is about how expatriates or people with international requirements should invest their money. And originally I came across his book and then became a big follower and advocate of the work which he does, because, again, teachers are vocational professionals. They want to help and educate people, and, of course, that's a key part of what we believe that and how we should help people with money is viewing things from their side. How do we collectively give the knowledge which is really going to help people get the peace of mind and security to build their wealth in the future? And because we share these types of things in common, we've become very good friends, big advocates for each other. And we both do lots of seminars or education material together.
Yeah, no, it's really fascinating because the reason I'm asking you this question is your company is, it's a huge company. You have, I'm sure, a huge account. But this teacher, he travels the world in conferences, right? He so trying to educate and pass along what he had himself done with his salary, his teacher's salary, which is the same situation all over the world. You have teachers are not, unfortunately, well paid, and a lot of people feel like, well, you need to have a huge salary in order to be able to save money. So that's what I found this story fascinating, and I had watched. I mean, everybody can go on YouTube, and if you put his name on YouTube, you will, find all the different, even your interview with him there. I saw it, and it was fascinating. So thank you for sharing that story. Now, my next question to you is PoloRadio from Argentina. So I will have to ask you a question for our Argentine people out there, including myself. And so what would be your financial advice that you will give to an Argentine investor nowadays?
Sure. Because of our Polo connection, we have Argentinian people within the company. And it's fascinating looking at their needs, their investor education. But in the whole, I would say that Argentina isn't different from the rest of South America, where financial services standards, as I would understand it, looking at Singapore, the United Kingdom, and now the fiduciary rule that's coming into play in the United States, is probably 20 years behind in terms of the sophistication of the products. And for about 2 decades, advanced countries have really developed, and I still see our Argentinian clients, typically they're investing via insurance companies, which adds in a layer of additional costs, and not directly with investment companies, so big international companies such as Zurich International. And they may also, within those insurance markets, be buying either expensive mutual funds or some esoteric, higher risk structured products. And I'd say that I would hope that as educational standards improve in financial services regulation, there's a big movement away from expensive products which tie you into long-term contractual obligations, and mutual funds which are also expensive and have been mathematically proven not to underperform net fees and charges, towards better types of product sets which are easily accessible if only those people know how to access them. There's no need ever to invest via an insurance company unless there's a tax-driven reason for doing it, which is only occasionally. You no longer need to contract or have any form of exit penalties at all. You can have open architecture, fully flexible, and most of all, you can buy into these index funds or low-cost exchange-traded funds, tracker funds, or passive investing philosophy. And these are from very, very, very large firms such as Vanguard or BlackRock, iShares or Spider, who provide easy market access in very reliable terms at a very low cost. And I'd hope that in time, South American clients begin to realize that it's easy with a little piece of knowledge. If you could read people like Andrew Hallam's book on how to access those directly and cut out the intermediaries that suck away your returns.
Yeah, we are 20 years behind. That's quite, it doesn't surprise me, but there is hope. So thank you for the advice. And I would like to ask you, my last question will be if you could please tell us about in your company you have what is called the index account. So could you please tell people what the index account is all about?
Sure. Well, as part of our mission for transforming that toxic industry into a profession, what we believe is the level of wealth shouldn't be prohibit people. And we often see private banks want millions and millions of pounds. Advisory companies have minimums. And so what we wanted to do is provide a mechanism whereby every people, like in Andrew's case, is evangelical about teachers. For myself living in Dubai, there are a huge amount of migrant workers here in the UAE. And we wanted to make sure that the level of wealth which people have doesn't prohibit them from accessing well-costed, cheap and transparent products which get the market returns, which benefit from the amazing power of the stock markets that average over periods of time 10.2% returns. And so the index account was really our mechanism. It doesn't have advisors. It's just people on the end of the phone. So it's a mix of technology and a cyborg So it's sort of human interaction, but there aren't the financial salespeople that are incentivized by these big commissions involved with it. And it's a means of allowing people to access the power, the amazing power of the market at a very low cost, transparent, without being over-serviced or sold to by financial salespeople who we would perceive and normally extract any of the gains you're likely to make. They extract them out the side door.
Very interesting. So that was our financial talk. Now we're going to move on to Sam. It's a polo player, and so I would like to ask you a couple of questions about your polo life. So I know that you had won last year 2 years, right? It's been the 2 years that you had won the Maserati Polo tournament. So could you please tell us about that excited part of your life, being a polo player? What's your position that you play? And tell us about the Maserati Polo tournament, please.
Sure. Much more interesting than the world of finance, the world of polo, much more exciting. And I, like I said, I was originally in the cavalry part of the military in charge of the horses, which is always very, very keen on polo. And the senior officers were always playing polo, but I wanted, as a young officer, to steer away from them. And it's really only when I bumped into the now manager of the King Power polo team, the Thai polo team, that has taken the UK by storm, only recently winning the Gold Cup. I bumped into him, and I've been learning to play Polo Day, where I've taken people from our company, and he said to me, you must have ridden an awful lot before. Why don't you come back and have that free lesson tomorrow? And this was about 8 years ago. And I went back the following day, much to my financial detriment now, and I went back almost every single day after that. And since that period, it's obviously taken over my life. So Pete McCormack, I have an awful lot to thank or to be angry about. But here in Dubai, polo is a massive growth sport, and people like Maserati have been instrumental in bringing tournaments here in the International Polo Series, as there are many luxury goods brands associated with the big polo tournaments, such as Cartier Polo Tournament here as well, which is administered by the Guards Polo Club of the UK. And the Maserati one, which I won 2 years ago, is a very popular one in the mid-season of the tournament. And of course, it's great for followers of polo because the Maserati make it an amazing social event as well. And they put on amazing musicians, and just like many of the polo matches in Argentina.
Wonderful. And could you please tell us when are you playing next? Where are you going to play? And what will be your team?
Sure. So I'm based at the Desert Palm Polo Club in Dubai, and that's owned by Ali Al-Bawadi, who has been the patron for the very dominant Dubai polo team that has moved around the world. And much to my great sadness, I'm stuck here working whilst I think Ali travelled today to see his son Rashid and the Dubai polo team play in the European Open in Sotogrande. And that Sotogrande season coming to a culmination at the moment of the Gold Cup in a couple of weeks. So I'm missing out on that, but the good news is the ponies come in on the 1st of September, and our season is coming around again already. We begin in the beginning of October, and by October we'll be in the tournaments getting ready for November to December. And that's back into the Dubai team and the build-up. And we'll see always high goal teams coming back. We have a good medium goal developing here as well, where I played with the AES International team, and we have the beginnings of good grassroots laying down to hopefully polo's here to stay in the Middle East.
Very interesting. And you are also linked to Ali Al-Bawadi. So we're just going to say just a little, just to talk about how Ali was appointed to this new position. Could you please tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So Ali is really the father of polo in the Middle East. His passion and enthusiasm for the sport has really made him stand apart, and he's a well-known figure all around the world. And one of the things I love about the UAE is its passion for being the best. And last year, the president of the country appointed Ali to be the first ever president of the Emirates Polo Association, so the EPA. And the president of the country tasked him with forming a committee, bringing in the rules and the handicap systems, which are basing largely upon the US system and the polo HPA's rules. And again, showing that Ali is constantly moving and innovating and bringing and developing polo as a sport here in the Middle East. And I think the aspiration is to make it a key world centre so that we can compete with places like the US and the UK and Europe. Probably not ever with Argentina, but in terms of the circuit of places where people go, we have around about 10 high goal teams just in the city here at the moment. Mm-hmm. It's the beginning of hopefully great things for polo in the Middle East.
Wow, that is really fantastic news. It's going to explode. I mean, even in Argentina also there are, a lot of changes within all the circuits, and it's actually really good. Changes are good. It makes people think and reorganize and regroup, and always wonderful things come out of that. So definitely here in the U.S., we have, if it wasn't for the patrons and the polo, the polo club owners, privately owned, and if it wasn't for their support, us polo fans and the rest of the world, we wouldn't have the opportunity. So it's great to see, and it's so wonderful to feel the passion. I was fortunate enough to have met you and Ali at the same time at the Polo Museum in Wellington, and I could definitely feel Ali's passion for polo and how, and even Rashid, his son, how much they love polo, and it's just so great and perfect. So that is very, very, very exciting. Now, are we going to see you? I met you. I saw you again in Argentina. So we'll hopefully see you in at the finals in Argentina. A lot of changes there too. So I hope you guys will go there.
And there's nothing more than I would look forward to each year to coming to Argentina. And so I'm sure the group of us here, passionate, Ali always as well. We'll move from here at the end of November, and we'll definitely be seeing you there.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of changes also, as you heard, are happening within, the Triple Corona and all that. So, which is, it's just amazing. It's extremely, I am extremely excited and looking forward to all that. So, as a polo fan, and you guys are polo players, patrons, and everybody gets excited. Well, Sam Instone, I thank you for your time. It's so great to see people like you. You're a businessman, you're a dad, you're a husband, but you still make time to play polo, support polo, and give us this interview to us and at Polo Radio. We thank you on behalf of Federico Levi and all the team back in Argentina.
Hasta aquí llegamos con Polo Radio, el único magazine de alto handicap. Podés escuchar este programa y los anteriores a través de nuestras redes sociales. Hasta el próximo programa de Polo Radio.